Napoleon is a brand new 2023 film by Ridley Scott, and it offers an in-depth and unique look at the personal life of Napoleon Bonaparte and his relationship with his wife, Josephine. These types of movies are few and far in between these days, and when it's Ridley Scott, it almost feels like it's not an option, but to get up and get out to the theater. And that's what I did, so let's talk about it. What is up, everyone, and welcome back to Jones Vibes. Hit the like button if you're willing to sit through a 3-hour-long movie, and let's dive in. So, Napoleon, directed by Ridley Scott, and the synopsis reads, a look at the military commander's origins and his swift, ruthless climb to emperor viewed through the prism of his addictive and often volatile relationship with his wife and one true love, Josephine. And straight away, I'm just gonna say that I enjoyed this movie. For whatever reason, it reminded me of my childhood. I wasn't involved in a lot of large-scale battles, but I did grow up in a family full of history buffs. And so movies like The Patriot, Last of the Mohicans, Gladiator, and Dances with Wolves were always on in my household, just on one of the TVs. And so it's been a while since I've seen a war epic like this in theaters, and that's what got me so excited. I knew the runtime going in, so I was prepared for it. I knew that it was Ridley Scott, and so I sat down just kind of ready to take all of this in. And I will say it wasn't quite what I expected. I may have expected a little bit more action. And with all the freaking blockbuster movies and superhero movies these days, if you're going into this one with the expectation that it's going to be a 3-hour-long thrill ride, you're setting yourself up for disappointment there. There's actually a lot of exposition, and you very quickly realize, oh, this is just straight up a biopic. There's this through-line plot that's actually really interesting of Napoleon and Josephine, and that's the real heart and soul of the movie. Along the way, however, there are some freaking sick action set pieces documenting the historical victories by Napoleon Bonaparte. And those delivered at the heights that I was hoping for. Napoleon didn't come up short, if you know what I mean. Cannon fire and muskets and bayonets and explosions and help, we need a doctor, that kind of stuff. It was awesome. But again, if you're hoping for it to be like that the entire movie, it's not. But the two main players of this movie, and the ones that are probably going to be up for the awards, are Napoleon, played by Joaquin Phoenix, and Josephine Bonaparte, played by Vanessa Kirby. And first, let's talk about Joaquin Phoenix. He's such a malleable actor. He's worked with Ridley Scott before in Gladiator, and so he really fit this well, although when he was playing Napoleon, I couldn't help but just seeing Joaquin Phoenix the entire time. For whatever reason, just personally, I was finding it hard to blend him into the character of Napoleon, probably because he didn't have a French accent. But aside from that, what he managed to pull off with this performance was pretty amazing. The amount of work that he must have had to do was absolutely insane. And he showed this side of this historical figure that I certainly wasn't aware of at all. Napoleon was a very vulnerable man, and they showed that, but they also showed that he has a very large ego, as do all emperors and people in power. And I'm sure that they took a lot of liberties with this story, but this is a very important and powerful person, historical figure to try and bring back to life, and I think that they succeeded ultimately in that. But then there is Vanessa Kirby, and all I have to say is just put her in everything, man. From Mission Impossible to this, to hopefully the Fantastic Four in the future. That's the rumor right now. She's clearly just one of Hollywood's new leading ladies, and she was absolutely brilliant in this. It's well deserved. The range of emotions that she has to portray in this film are so drastic. It's one side and then the complete opposite. And so watching her, I was just kind of in awe the entire time. But visually, this movie was amazing as well. I think that if you were to watch this at home, you could still definitely appreciate it, but it is a good one to get out and watch in the theater. I wouldn't be surprised also if this wins costume design at the Oscars. It was so well done, and it was just crazy to be placed back in the 1700s, early 1800s. But with how wild Ridley Scott's personality is, and just how bold of a person that he is, it always makes sense when you see his movies, because he just has a pulse on what he wants. He is a bold guy. He knows his vision, and although Napoleon isn't going to be a movie that I turn on every year and watch over and over and over, it certainly was cool, and I'm happy to have seen it. But as always, I do want to give my Jones Vibe star rating, and this is based purely off of my enjoyment level. I am by no means a critic, but guys, I'm giving Napoleon 4 out of 5 stars, and it's well deserved. But since this was a biopic, there aren't really any spoilers to talk about. You can just pick pick up a history book and learn about this. So at this point, I will just turn it over to you guys. Did you see Napoleon? And if so, what did you think about it? Have you not seen it? Are you excited to see it? Are you gonna go see it? Please let me know all of those thoughts down in the comments and start that discussion. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. One like goes a very long way, and I really appreciate it. You can also follow me on X at Jones Vibes Only, and don't forget to keep up the good vibes, guys. But Ridley Scott is back and in top-notch form, and now we have Gladiator 2 to look forward to.
Jones Vibes.